my nurse actually emphasized that I was at a high risk to have a heart attack. There were times I was like, I wish I had a gun next to me so I could end all this. To tell you the truth, I feel like I was at the end of my life.
Hey Carnivores, SB fam, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. I hope you all are having an amazing meat-fueled day. In today's video, I get to present a powerful and moving story featuring Raymond Nazon. Raymond is 52 years young, a father to 2 beautiful children, and he shares his story of overcoming debilitating health concerns, how he completely transformed his life, his health, and his body. He will share exactly how he went from looking like this to this. So without further ado, let me bring on my friend and my inspiration, Raymond Nazon. So I have my 6-year carnivore friend right here, Coach Raymond Nazon. Everybody loves Raymond. And I wanted to take advantage of our time together hanging out, your issues, struggles, hurdles, just constant failures throughout your journey. You were able to build and create truly a gift out of your struggles. And I really admire you for that. Let's actually start from day one. How did you even come across this lifestyle, the carnivore diet?
Yeah, day one was, first of all, I was in pain for a long period of time. Since 33, pain was just getting a little bit worse, but I'll give you an example of the pain. I started feeling my foot pain first. It's something that I'd ignore, but it was enough where I noticed it right when I got out of bed. And I was just thinking, that's just a moment of getting old, right? So really, it's not like all of a sudden all these things happen. But the pivotal moment was when I did do a blood work for work, and I got a call from the nurse and said, hey, I need to see you, urgent, So when I did, they're like, first of all, you're going to need a primary care. I don't have a primary care, still don't. And they were like, your blood work is saying you have pre-diabetes and that you're on track to go to diabetes. By the time that happened, I was a 44-inch waist. I was weighing at about 252 pounds, and I had all of the symptoms, including high blood pressure, including high blood glucose, a high A1C, bad triglycerides, low HDL, which is one of the markers also. The only thing that was working for me was probably a lower LDL. Then they told me that, look, you're gonna be diabetic. You'll eventually have to be on insulin and actually be on a drug. You can manage this by exercise and nutrition. They said the nutrition that's recommended is the diabetes nutrition. So they have a certain set, and he tried to walk me through it, and it's a bunch of carbs, and it's like, it was so confusing. So the first thing I did was try a workout. So because that was the only thing that I was like, well, I don't want to change the way I eat. I thought I ate healthy.
So you refused to change your diet because you thought working out would be more effective, right?
Right.
What happened when you started working out? Did you see any changes?
Yeah, well, I saw some positive changes as far as my endurance. I was able to walk a little further. So that part, I did feel a little stronger. But as far as weight loss or feeling any better with my pains, nothing. I mean, if I tell you nothing, so I bared through all of it. Remember, I had heel spurt and plantar fasciitis at the time and diverticulitis. All these flared up. I still worked out through it. It was sheer willpower a lot of the time just to get up and go and actually work out, because every step I took was painful. I was thinking for sure working out would do it for me. If anything, alleviate a little bit of pain from weighing less, which I ended up weighing a pound more after 7 months. And I was working up to 7 days a week by that time. It was a slow buildup. I started 1 day a week, then eventually I got up to 7 days a week. And it was sheer willpower to get through that.
How old were you at this time? Were you a father yet? And how did you feel about yourself as a man?
Wow, that's a great question. So at that time I was 45. How I felt about myself as a man, and I was a father already, but you know, as far as a father, I was sick most of the time. I was having UTI once every other month. Can you imagine having UTI? That lasted at least 2 to 3 weeks at a time. I refused to take antibiotics. I was just stricken against antibiotics or anything that doctors prescribed at the time. So I just dealt with the pain. That made me useless as a father. In other words, I couldn't spend time with my son or daughter properly because I was in too much pain. I was just enough to get home, just to get on the couch, so enough to do my work, just enough, and all this took willpower. Now, on top of that, it's a little worse. How was it for me being a man? Well, the other thing that I couldn't do is I couldn't perform properly. Okay, I couldn't even get morning woods anymore. And so as far as manhood, that went, I mean, it's just everything was attacking me at that time. And I felt like it was hopeless. I was like, this must be what it means to get old. I really felt like my body was just completely failing and that I had no choice but to accept that because that was part of getting old.
Raymond is now 51. Raymond is now 51 years old, and he honestly, I've hung out with him for days now, 24/7 basically. Can't get enough of this personality here. He feels, acts, talks like a 20-something-year-old. He is so youthful, full of energy. He has more energy than me, guys. I'm stunned. So clearly he turned his life around. He did something that worked, and it's not exercise. So let's actually share what exactly was the secret to all of this. How are you where you are today? Seriously, such an inspiration to thousands of people, to me included. What did you do?
Yeah, I mean, what I did is actually as simple as possible. I just ate meat.
Yeah.
And because I ate meat, it kind of landslid me into a version of fasting. So it all led together. So I fast and feast. And all of the magic just started working its way. And it wasn't those two little hacks like cold shower, like walking barefoot. I tried all those little tricks. The real answer for me, it wasn't exercise either. It was the eating meat and the fasting for me.
Now, do you eat any vegetables, any fruits? Only meat? That can't be.
Only meat. I don't even like, well, there are certain fruits that I might have liked back then. I like meat anyways. So to me, this wasn't much of a sacrifice. My problem is I did like breads and I did like rice. So those starchy things. So that was initially hard for me to let go of and be able to accept. But when I made myself to feast properly, I never wanted any of this other stuff. It just was like gone, vanished. So this was not hard at all.
Eating an all meat only diet, to a lot of people, it is just crazy. How can someone not die of a heart attack or get clogged arteries or get this disease or that disease? I want you to speak with your own experience on how your health has improved or maybe got worse, what healed, what hasn't healed. How has Carnivore Diet changed your health?
A lot of ways. So first of all, it wasn't like overnight, oh my God, I become this, unbelievable person overnight. It took a while. So I would say about 1.5 years. I remembered myself even saying, man, yes, I healed so many things that my gut is going nowhere. I still had an extended gut at that time. And I even asked a colleague, I was like, because he was doing more of a low carb and he had a bigger gut. He started losing it at the time. And I was like, well, how'd you do that? I'm kind of curious. And he's like, oh yeah, I just kept on eating low carb and just took my time and it started going down a little bit, but it still wasn't gone. So I was like expecting to look a little bit like him. So, but lo and behold, that started going away too. I've tried everything else. So I'm just like, screw it. This is an easy way to eat. I'm too lazy to change anything as far as the way I'm eating. Even though if I'm having a little bit of greater pain here, it's worth going through it. That's the way I saw it. Now, I just was curious. I was like, okay, how long is this pain going to last? Usually the pain that would accentuate a little bit was 2 weeks at the most. And it wasn't that painful. It's nothing that I needed to take any over-the-counter drugs, not that I would have, but all that seemed to be part of the healing. It's like my body was literally rearranged itself. I'll give you a great example. So my head had this flatness right here. It was always super flat. And I don't know why. So it's like I got bumped in the head or something like that when I was a kid, and it just stayed like this. Now it's round. And I always feel it, and I'm like, did I imagine this? And there's so many parts of myself that I'm like, how did I go from feeling all this? It felt like fat, mushy. And then all of a sudden now it's like muscular sinews. I'm like, what's going on? And yes, I did work out and I did do martial arts at that same time, but I was doing this because I felt good. I wanted to. And I still do that to this day, the martial arts and kind of working out, because it feels good to do it. But sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like doing it, and I don't.
I'm gonna put up Raymond's before and after photos a lot now during the video, so you can just see like physically what his body has, how his body has changed and transformed. And what I find kind of funny is when people who do not know your story, the moment they see your pictures, they always say something like, wow, this man really worked out hard to get this after body. Anyone who has actually come across you, they always assume, oh, this guy's an athlete,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just, did you exercise your way to this body, or did you eat your way to this body?
I, for sure, 100% ate my way to this body. Because, okay, when I worked out, first of all, when I worked out even at Orange Theory during that 7 months that I was just doing the workout just to see what working out would do, I did the minimal effort. Now, when I started feeling good, when you can't help it anymore and the adrenaline starts pumping, yes, I probably did a lot more than I wanted to, and I did. But that's only because I felt good. I felt capable of doing it. I started feeling this way, then I could, not the other way around. I didn't force it in. It just happened because I ate meat and I fasted.
If you're new to the carnivore diet and you're experiencing symptoms like fatigue, lower energy than usual, headaches, muscle cramping, these are all common symptoms of the adaptation phase. My most recommended solution for these symptoms is to just salt heavier on all of your meals. And if that doesn't do the trick, I do recommend leaning on high quality electrolytes like this brand, Element, to help resolve your symptom. This teal colored box labeled raw unflavored is my most recommended one because there's no stevia or flavorings. It is just the 3 ingredients shown on the box: sodium, potassium, and magnesium, measured out in the right quantities for you. These are what the little packets look like. You can simply just rip one open, pour it in whatever beverage you drink, mix it up, and you are good to go. If you go to the gym every day, sweat a lot, chances are electrolyte supplements like these are going to be very beneficial for you. You all can get a free sample pack like this one right here with any purchase if you go to the URL shown on the screen, drinklmnt.com/SBGAL. I have also linked it down below in the description box. Yeah. So let's talk about the whole eating meat part, because when I first met Raymond a couple years back, we connected on the fact that we eat like it's our job. Yes. And when we sit down to eat, we don't take it lightly. We treat that as a moment to not only nourish, but to really pack in the nutrients, the fats, the healthy proteins from all that meat. And I connected with him on the fact that we can really just down pounds and pounds and pounds of meat.
Yes.
And when I started learning more about why he does it, that's when I became intrigued about his priming protocol. And I kind of want to lightly touch on this, even though, you know, I filmed plenty of interviews with him and Coach Emily in the past where we explore this protocol. Priming, feasting, and fasting is such an essential part of my life as a carnivore, part of his and Coach Emily's. I will make sure to link all of the interviews that I've done where we do talk in depth about it. But for anyone who's new watching this, you did create priming yourself through your carnivore hurdles and your carnivore journey. What is priming?
Yeah, first of all, what is priming? Priming is so essential for us in the carnivore diet. We're so hungry and malnourished. And I learned that early on because I was reading these posts that there's a lot of carnivores that keep failing. And it's like, well, why? And I was like, I did not want to be one of those carnivores. And most of the time that I saw on these forums was like, you're under eating. I was like, well, you know, damn, I'll be sure I won't be the one to undereat.
Yeah.
And I took every chance I could to eat a lot of meat. And I noticed that was hard, you know, because I'm a former binger. So that should have been easy for me. Yeah, I should have been able to eat the whole house of meat and wanting more. That was not the case. So when I did, not only what I noticed is I noticed when I did, the first day wasn't enough. The second day wasn't enough. After right about 2 weeks is when I really just can't do it anymore. That was my case. And I noticed that's an average for a lot of people. So that's where the priming protocol comes in. I wanted to keep it simple. So I wanted to say, hey, look, 3 meals a day. Can you do 3 meals a day of eating nutrient-dense foods, nourishing foods, carnivore foods, and you're eating until stuffed? Get your true nutrients in first. And then eventually what I notice is that there's a signal that goes to your brain that says, I've had enough. Please stop feeding me. That's where the priming comes in.
Yeah, and my personal experience with priming, it was very effortless for me because I was coming from a vegan background where I was malnourished and already ravenous for that animal food. So I did a spin on priming where I had 5 meals every single day. And I just love how you teach priming to be so flexible and malleable based on somebody's personal journeys, what they want to heal, their background. And I just remember you guiding me through priming to do it up to 6 months. 6 months I did priming and it healed so much for me. It brought back my period. It completely transformed my skin. You guys all know that to this day, I still eat like it's my job. And it really is the essence of my carnivore success because every time I sit down to eat, I treat it like it's my job. And I did want to quickly share that Raymond, me, and Coach Emily will actually be speaking about feasting and fasting and definitely priming at KETOCON 2024. Just wanted to shout that out and share on my channel here. If you want to watch us speak live about the carnivore diet, the magic of fasting as well, you can meet us in person in Texas, and I will make sure to link down below in the description box how you can get your tickets. The discount code to get $50 off is SBG. We cannot wait to see you there. We will also be speaking alongside Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Robert Kiltz, and Dr. Anthony Chafee. So more details down below in the description box.
Yeah, let's pack the house on this one because I think that's so important to get this message out.
Yes.
Even a lot of carnivores that start out, they always look at it for weight loss.
Yep.
We teach something different. We teach for healing. Go carnivore for healing. Then the rest will follow eventually. So if we pack the house, hopefully on that main stage, we pack the house, that they'll start thinking to themselves, maybe we shouldn't call it KETOCON anymore. That's my hope. So we want to see as many carnivores there as possible. And if you're not and you're just thinking about carnivore, be there. We want to see you.
If you're feeling lost or overwhelmed with your carnivore journey, or you are not getting to your body composition and weight loss goals, I welcome you all to join my community, the Steak and Butter Gang. Coach Raymond teaches his full priming and fasting program in the community every single week. He leads weekly live classes to troubleshoot and teach every step of his program, and he gives out weekly schedules for all the members to follow so that it is easy and effortless to do. In addition to having these live Zoom calls with me and my team of coaches, I also invite on an incredible panel of guest speakers, carnivore doctors, carnivore MDs, specialists, and experts who can answer all of our questions and inspire us with their incredible knowledge on this carnivore diet lifestyle. I will be inviting on Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean O'Mara, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Robert Kiltz, Coach Rebecca Heichman, and Coach Sean White, the Intentional Carnivore. If you love any of the brilliant minds above, I highly recommend you to join my upcoming Carnivore Challenge at the link shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or check out the links down below in the description box for more details and to directly sign up.
The importance is really unlocking that healing first. Feel the power of the healing benefits of this lifestyle. And yes, it definitely helps when you eat like it's your job, go through the priming protocol, and then weight loss tends to follow after. This is exactly my journey. I healed so much more than I could ever dream of. My skin stopped producing new pimples every day. That was life-changing for me alone. I stopped using medication for eczema and psoriasis. My period came back. What were the fascinating things that healed for you?
Oh my God, so many things. So the first main things were the painful points. That's the ones I'm going to talk about. So my plantar fasciitis, my heel spur, these are painful, and also according to the doctors that I went to, it only gets worse as you age.
Right.
Okay, well, that wasn't true for me. Now, the diverticulitis, that was the worst one ever. So whenever I have a flare up, it got to the point where there was a time I remembered vividly that I was in so much pain, because sometimes these things last for like up to 8 hours, okay? Just a flare up, that it kind of escalates itself. Like, I want to think it's almost like laboring pain. So it would ease off a little bit and then bring it back up and then peak. And let me tell you, at that peak point, what I would try to do, I would be in a fetal position because that's all I could do. But I would try to get as close to a wall as possible. And I tried to knock myself out. There were times I was like, I wish I had a gun next to me so I could end all this. That's how painful it was. And I almost thought about next time that I do that, to do this. Now realize I have 2 kids and a wife, and I was thinking of doing that. That's how much pain I was in. So those were the worst pains. But I had sleep apnea. I was to the point where I couldn't sleep at night because my nose was always stuffy. I know some of you know what that means, because I felt it and it was horrible. So I was always snorting, right? And snoring also really bad, but snorting because I couldn't get air. And then I would wake up in the middle of the night because I didn't have a hard time going back to sleep. Then this repeated this cycle, and I never had any good sleep. I'd wake up feeling very sluggish, horrible all the time. It was terrible. I would fall asleep at the wrong times. I would fall asleep in the car when I'm driving to work and also driving back right after lunch. It was constant battle. It was horrible. All of this was dangerous for me. It could have ended me. And to tell you the truth, I feel like I was at the end of my life during that time. I was just blessed that I found this diet that actually was able to let me see that there is another side that could rescue me and make me think, now I'm actually hopeful that I can have a quality life where I don't need to feel like I'm getting old. Because I'm not. I'm feeling like I'm younger than ever now. So I'm very hopeful what this is going to bring me as long as I keep this up. And this is not by any means not a sacrifice for me, because I love eating meat.
Something else I kind of wanted to stress is your CAC score. So carnivores, at least in the community, love promoting, hey, get a CAC score if you actually want a good representation of your heart health. And we recently got to sit down with Dr. Philip Ovadia, who's a board certified heart surgeon. He reviewed his CAC scores. And if you don't mind just kind of doing a quick overview of how your CAC scores progressed.
A lot of people would look at me and say, damn, you're really healthy. As a matter of fact, I just did a physical with work, and they were like, you are the stellar health. All your blood work, everything's stellar. And, you know, if they looked at me, they would think that I was healthy all my life. I couldn't even prove that I had all these problems before. But what my CAC score tells difference. I had a 700 CAC score 5 years ago. That actually made me quit the carnivore diet the first time around. Now I'm at 800 CAC score. Now, thanks to Dr. Ovadia, I would have thought, oh my God, obviously the carnivore diet's not working, right? But thank goodness we talked to Dr. Ovadia, and he has a different concept about that 100-point change in 5 years. How amazing that was. I believe I'm on the right track for my heart. I actually feel it. I know what it feels like to have a weak heart, because that's what I had before. Now that I can actually 5K run at an 8.5-minute mile, to me, that's not a weak heart that can do this. So I feel like my heart is so much stronger because it feels younger than it ever has before. I don't need a scan to tell me any more than that.
Yeah. I'll put up some videos of Raymond doing jiu-jitsu, doing the splits. I might just film you doing this.
Sure, that's a good idea.
Incredible the things that this guy can do at the age of, again, 51, okay? He really is reversing his age. And he's becoming younger and younger, more and more energetic and full of life. And Dr. Obadia really did stress that where he started off with that first initial CAC score, he's actually very impressed that it only progressed that little during his follow-up score. And at that time, I'm curious, did your doctor scare you? Was he shocked himself? Did he say that you're at risk of a heart attack? Did he try to put you on meds?
Yes. So my nurse was insisting that I had to get a cardiologist.
Yeah.
And he told me that they'll probably do a dye test and a stress test. And that already turned me off. I was like, I'm not finding a cardiologist. I'm just doing it my way. You know, because he even said there's a possible stent that might be in place. And, you know, I felt like, well, once I signed up with a cardiologist, I kind of had to do what he told me. So I didn't want to go that in. And I was like, well, let me try something else, because I've seen so many poor stories of people going in the hospital and having really bad results, including with the diverticulitis that I had too. So, you know, they were telling me that I'd have to cut up part of my colon. So I didn't want my heart to be altered. I didn't want my gut to be altered. And then I was cut apart or added or removed. I don't want any of that. I was too young. I was like, I'd rather die. I know that sounds silly. I was like, I'm going to figure something else out. So with that calcium scoring test, my nurse actually emphasized that I was at a high risk to have a heart attack. I had a bad heart. He actually said that I had the heart of a 70-year-old man. So there's a great chance that I would be dead of a heart attack very soon. Now, very soon could mean 20 years later. What's ironic, Bella, actually, is that same nurse that was trying to tell me to change my diet, he actually died from a massive heart attack.
Wow.
And he was much younger than me, 5 years younger.
Ironic indeed. What is your best tip to start or thrive on the carnivore diet? Your best idiot-proof tip to go carnivore?
Yeah, so the best tip that I'm going to give you is actually not even how to even go carnivore.
No.
I want you to take a look at what you're doing right now, what you're eating right now. Are those things making you that happy? Is it something that you have to hold on to that tightly because that food means so much to you? I'm going to tell you, for me, I never realized how strong nutrition was. Until I walk through it. Then I realized that was probably 95% of my issues. Actually, I don't even know what the other 5% would be that I might need some kind of intervention, whether it's supplements or medical. I don't know, because I don't need it anymore. So maybe it's all the way 99% of the way that nutrition was the thing that made me a different person, that I could have the quality of life that I'm living right now. So what I want to say is, how important is the quality of your life, and how important is that food you're eating right now? Ask yourself these two questions. What are you willing to do for that quality of life? And how long are you willing to do it? If the answer is I'll do anything, just like me, I was at that point, I'll do anything to have that better life, that better quality of life, then carnivore is for you.
If you're feeling lost or overwhelmed with your carnivore journey, or you are not getting to your body composition and weight loss goals, I welcome you all to join my community, the Steak and Butter Gang. Coach Raymond teaches his full priming and fasting program in the community every single week. He leads weekly live classes to troubleshoot and teach every step of his program, and he gives out weekly schedules for all the members to follow so that it is easy and effortless to do. In addition to having these live Zoom calls with me and my team of coaches, I also invite on an incredible panel of guest speakers, carnivore doctors, carnivore MDs, specialists, and experts who can answer all of our questions and inspire us with their incredible knowledge on this carnivore diet lifestyle. I will be inviting on Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sean O'Mara, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Robert Kiltz, Coach Rebecca Heichman, and Coach Sean White, the Intentional Carnivore. If you love any of the brilliant minds above, I highly recommend you to join my upcoming Carnivore Challenge at the link shown on the screen, sbgmeetup.com, or check out the links down below in the description box for more details and to directly sign up. Before I wrap up the video, I also wanted to share a tip on how to achieve better sleep. This is something that I have been utilizing every single day from afternoon all the way up to night, and sometimes the whole entire day. And that is wearing blue blockers. As you can see, I have 3 different kinds of blue blockers, and they each go on my face at different times of the day. All 3 are from Bon Charge. This clear one is just for daytime use. So if it's morning, it's bright outside, I pop these on if I'm on my laptop or on my phone. Any devices will have blue light, and we want to protect our eyes from this harsh blue light so that it doesn't get strained, tired, dry at the end of the day. And wearing these also help us achieve a deeper sleep at night. These yellow ones that I'm wearing are excellent for when it starts to get dim outside. So I wear these around afternoon to late afternoon. I often wear these yellow ones when I'm hosting Zoom calls in the Steak and Butter Gang, and then I switch out to these maximum protection ones, the red ones, nighttime and completely dark inside. So blue blockers I have been wearing every single day, and I have not found a pair that are as suitable for me as these ones from Bon Charge. They sit well, you can adjust the nose rest, and the design that I'm wearing in all 3 is called Magnum, by the way. So if you're interested in investing in a pair of blue blockers for yourself, I'll make sure to link Bon Charge down below in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Have an amazing rest of your day. SBG out.